Hello LDRPians. So, welcome to the yet another interview session in the series of Alumni Talks organized by LDRP Alumni Association. My name is Sneh Kumar Shahani and I am from 07C batch. Objective of the Alumni Talk initiative is to help LDRPians know each other by providing a platform to connect and motivate everyone by demonstrating the good work of the alumni by hearing from them. So I would like to give a special mention to Dhaval Raja for coordinating all the alumni talks. He helps us in variety of capacities, like right from coordinating the talks and providing all the technical support. Today we have with us a very special guest, Munir Mehta from 07CE batch. So Munir pursued his BE from LDRP and MS from BITS Pilani. So in his career, he has worked for some of the world-renowned organizations like Oracle India and then Epic Systems in the US. And currently, he is working with Google on the YouTube project. In his words, he calls himself an engineer with designing, debugging, and problem-solving skills, with a dedication to quality. So this reminds me of the famous lines by Roger Pressman in his software engineering textbook. A quality focus is the core of engineering, and without which it should not be called as engineering. So hi Munir.
Hello, Sneh, and thank you for inviting me. And I'd like to especially say thanks to Dhaval for organizing this whole thing. I think it's gonna be really, really pivotal. And looking back, I think I would have appreciated something like that happening at that time and helping me guide where I am. And it's such a pleasure to be interviewed by Sneh, our batch topper. We all look up to. So okay. Thank you, Dhaval and Sneh, and everyone involved here.
Okay, so this reminds me of Shri Kapil Sharma. So in his words, let me ask you, तो जब आप LDRP में पढ़ते थे, तो आपने कभी सोचा था कि आपको हमारे शो में आने का मौका मिलेगा? So let me directly start with the question. So Munir, we wanted to know what the kind of work that you do at Google. What is your work profile, position, and some details about whatever you can divulge to us.
Thanks for that question. So Google is a pretty big company. Everyone knows that for a fact. So I'm working on a specific area, YouTube, and my main focus is my team is called community. So our goal is to build a community on YouTube, which means bringing creator and their audience together. So it's like our immediate right now, and sorry, I can't go much into details because it's right now it's more secret. But at a high level, what I can talk about is we are focused on the next generation of creators, which is especially I'm very passionate about it because our main right now focus is in India. And because there's due to Geo, so much population has come online. Everyone is trying new things. They're learning new things. So it's more about bringing countries like India, Brazil, Indonesia. Those are a very upcoming countries which have not a whole lot of population has been online since a while, and their first direct introductions to mobile. There's most of current generation, they don't start from computers like us. They're just directly started on mobile. So we are what I exactly immediately work is building a mobile first platform for creators and their audience. And if I go a little more specific, I'm currently working on providing how to work with the video processing systems on a low-end devices. Okay. Where India, it's internet has gotten so much better, but the devices are some of somewhere a couple 100 million devices are at the lower end. So you have to figure out the best way to serve those kind of upcoming next generation creators. That's one of my major goals.
I know everything. Video should be shot with a small phone itself, and still it should look good. That's what we are doing something.
You summarize it very well. I think that's the whole goal is to if you look at some of the top creators, they have big studio, they have iMacs, MacBook Pros, they have a very fancy a couple $100,000 of hardware and softwares and team dedicated. We are trying to help the next generation creator to get started by putting everything on a phone. So there are a couple of very interesting challenges there. So that's and that is one of the reason why I came to India last year, as a Google, and trying to understand as Google's perspective how they are viewing India, and we interviewed so many different people in India as a creators and as an audience. It was a very interesting experience. So I feel like right now, whatever I'm working on it, I'm feeling very passionate about it because I can see it from both perspective, as an Indian and like as an engineer who is building the product. So it's a very interesting vertical trifecta I'm working with.
I really like the work culture of Google. So they allow you to interact with the customer or the end user to understand their perspective, and on the other side also to do the coding. And really great.
I think it's essential. Like, even if I feel like
Actually,
in last
yes.
3 years, like
Actually.
I've been in US. Sorry.
Sorry. Actually, it's essential.
It's like
You're
4
right.
years. Yeah. It's essential. Like last 4 years, I've been US in last 4 or 5 years, and I feel like India has progressed so much. I left, data was what like 200 rupees, and you get badly a GB. And now it's like what, a GB per day, and that is even like a 1/8 of the cost.
Okay. So perhaps
Very
you have lost
interesting.
Munir for a while. So maybe the video was paused for a while. Now we can hear you. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. What? Yeah. I don't know what part you heard, but I feel like India has changed a lot in last 4 or 5 years, and it's a very interesting shift in market.
Okay. So maybe now next question that I would ask is for the benefit of students is what it takes to bag a job at Google. What things you have to go through to be ready for a job at Google?
I think that's a lengthy question. I don't think there is a one.
Want to know from you because you have a degree from India. You have not done any MS in US, etc. Still you are working in the US. So that is very motivational for us that we also can be a part of Google. So some insights about that would be great. Maybe the interview process or something you would like to describe.
No, yeah, definitely. I can walk through the interview process. I would say one thing: it's not a one-trick pony. Like, it's not like something you can wake up one day and just like, hey, I want to get a job at Google. I think it's a little bit longer process. I think one of the first thing I would recommend anyone wants to be part of not just Google but any big companies, I would say, is like building your resume. And it's just not about building having a higher grades. Like, I never had a higher, like, was like a exceptionally excellent grades in my BE or ME. But I think the most important part is strengthening your resume. Like Google, if you talk about some high level numbers, they get like 10 million applications a year, which is like up to like 80 lakhs or 1 crore application they get every year, and they hire like 0.0001% of people. So that biggest factor is like filtering out through resume, right? So it's I would say put most focus on building resume. You can't build your resume in a day. Like, I can't just start typing if I don't have a background. You'll definitely be caught. So it's like most important things I would encourage is like build your resume, do freelance work, do open sourcing projects, do something like patents are excellent way to get noticed. Do something little bit out of the ordinary to get at least noticed by Google. I personally feel like I had done a lot of freelance work and projects after my bachelor, during my bachelor, and like throughout the career. I feel like I always play around new technologies, learn them. So I think that helped me a little bit. That's the one part of the puzzle. Like I said, the next big thing I would say is fundamentals. Have a clear cut fundamentals. Google has so many technologies, so they will never drill down, or that goes for most other companies. I had offer from Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, and Google, and out of 4, none of them asked me anything specific about technology. They all grilled me on fundamentals, like algorithms. And sorry if this get made too much technical about computer, but I would say the fundamentals like algorithms, data structures, those things are like super essentials. And they like go all the way through. Like, they will tear you apart on every small details. You cannot miss on the fundamentals. So I would say encourage anyone to start from ground up and build your resume, clear your fundamentals. And lastly, I would say is converting ideas into the code. Like, not having, like, you understand what is a greedy algorithm, you can understand into dynamic programming, but you have to convert on the spot your ideas to the code, and without making too many mistakes. Those are like coding practice comes somewhat of a real handy. So if anyone wants to try, it's a definitely doable thing, and I would encourage practice as much as coding as possible, because that's the thing. Like you have, so I gave, like, if I'm talking about specifically about Google, I had like a 6 rounds, and all 6 rounds they will only ask about like hardcore technical problems, and like they will ask you to walk us through the process, then they will ask you to code on the spot. And when I gave interview, it was whiteboard, so you don't have any IDE support. You don't get to, like, so you need to know one language decently well. You can't ask interviewer in middle of that, like, hey, how do I fetch value out of dictionary or something. That's for an example. So you need to convert your ideas into the code, that is, and write a clean code. So there are a couple of aspects to it, but I would say coding practice is one of the important aspect of it. I can keep on talking about it for us.
I can understand that because you are being interviewed for Google, they will not allow you to use Google to get the answer. So that's why they would have used the whiteboard.
Yeah.
So since you are talking a lot about technology, let me ask you a direct question. So what is your outlook on the technological landscape of the future? Some things, your thoughts on what can happen in future.
That's a very interesting problem. I feel like we are going through a very speedy technological shift. Like if you talk about our parent generation, the biggest technological revolution probably would be one thing, but we are going through several of them all together. Like invention of mobile phones, invention of internet, invention of social media. All things are coming together, and I feel like fake news and privacy are the two major concerns I've seen. Like unless this has been handled well, that can be a very, very, very challenging scenario for the world. Like if I look back, 2016 US election and 2020 now coming in US and India, even the upcoming elections, fake news is a major concern. Facebooks and Twitter are constantly grilled by data privacy. So it's going to be, I think everyone needs to be aware of what data they share and how they share it. And like, those are a couple of very, very interesting, because one encourages another. Like if you have shared so much data, Facebook knows so much about you and they can serve you something like that. If you Informatica, there was a big scandal around it. So I think we are in a very interesting time. There is a lot of good can happen. Information is available. Like looking back, like when we were in college, SMS were a big thing.
Oh yeah.
And then like now look at the WhatsApp. Yeah. Like look at the WhatsApp. Like this communication has become so fast. Internet, I remember like when I was in college, watching YouTube was so much trouble. Like buffering, constantly buffering. And now look at this. And look at this where we have landed. So like this is such a massive.
I can remember that nobody uses pen drive now. At that time, pen drive was so popular. We used to carry data. You can transfer the data from the phone itself very easily. That is the biggest change in my life.
That's what I think. Like I think 3 years ago, I was very excited that I bought a 2 TB SSD. Okay. And I feel like that's just now like getting dust on itself, because everything has become like
it's never used.
Maybe you should keep it in next 10 years. It will be a part of antique collection.
Like a floppy.
I know. Oh my god, yeah. It's like, and like look at some of the technological aspect, like RAM, like 4 GB RAM was like such a big thing. Oh and now look at this, like even the phones have like a 12 GB RAM. I think the technology has moved a lot faster in last 10 years, and I think it has bring both aspects of it, good and bad. And I feel like we really, really need to be cautious about it. Especially I'm being part of Google, and we are constantly taught like it's no longer a problem about growing; it's more about growing responsibility. Like as a Googler, I've worked more towards creator org, right? Sorry, I'm like pivoting your answer a little bit, but it's a very interesting problem that like if you look back, Google's can as a creator, as a product we are building, we cannot give any creator anything. Who can spread hate speech? Like in India, there are a lot of anti-Muslim or any like even the regional conflicts are going on. So we cannot give platform to the creators who spread hate. So we have to be very cautious. Like it's no longer a problem of growing.
That seems to be a very difficult problem. I can't imagine how you would be controlling that, but still, you must be doing
that's
it. You
why
are Google.
it's like
you can do anything.
I think Google is struggling as well.
Right.
If you honestly see it, that's why constant push is coming to hire more diverse set of people, so you don't have a one set of mentality. Like if you hire all people, like let's assume you hire all of single religion, they will have a different perspective of different religion, and you might start, your algorithms will start looking like you rather than you being informed by your algorithm.
Okay.
It's a very genuine thing. Like the best example, I think, being in Google, I can see recently and it was a big issue inside. It didn't go outside much,
Okay.
but it got like one of the photos tool tagged black person as a gorilla, and that become like, because of the algorithm, like it tagged, like it automatically tried to identify a black person as a gorilla. That's a
yeah.
that's
That can create a
inefficiency of
big issue,
algorithm, right? Like
in these days.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's a lack of diversity.
Right. So now let us come back to LDRP now. So first question I would like to ask on behalf of students. So what you would like to advise to the students who are currently studying, what they should be doing so that they can succeed in the career and they can be happy wherever they are.
Very interesting question. I think I would recommend, and I feel like my biggest growth came for the same reason. I think I would encourage everyone not to copy projects. I have seen that happening a lot. Like so many people think like, hey, I am cutting, I cannot close to deadline, I'll just copy someone's project or like copy someone from online. I think for me, the biggest thing, I felt like I would say I never copied, as far as I can remember, projects, and I always built them from ground up, and that actually really increased my interest in like problem solving. So like teachers give us a problem, and sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, it's very clear.
Yeah, so it's like I can still remember some of the interesting project. Like I think Gunwan sir gave us to write a compiler. That was one of my interesting problem. Like that was one of the very first. I remember doing it, and it was a very fun project. I think if you also remember, Gunwan sir, or I think Dhawal sir did like a competition for building a website for our in school like organization, like we have fest, and he organized a competition, and I did a project from ground up as well. So there's some of those things, like I could not point a single thing in my career that like, hey, this is like where I decided to become a computer engineer or decided to become an expert in the field. I felt like there's like so many small things came together. So I would encourage everyone, like I'm not good at writing exams. Yeah, but don't copy projects, because that's where the learning I felt like came from me. I still feel like if I write exams, I would probably not pass. But projects where I think my real strength is. So and it carried to my masters as well. That's where like Pilani, even in that one, I always had probably highest mark in my projects, like which is like a practical aspect of it. So that's what I encourage everyone.
Call as an engineer, the person who can do things.
Yeah.
Apply the science.
Yeah. And that is why I can never be PhD like you, Sneh. So I think that's what other side of advice should come from you.
Okay.
But I feel like, but if you're not good at, like,
things,
if you're not like Sneh, then bro. No, but yeah, I think if you are like me and not expert in studies, I would like not writing exams, but I will definitely encourage everyone to do your own project, no matter how small it is. Yes,
that's very good advice for him.
I would highly encourage it. Yeah, and it's a fun as well. Like you can put so much learning into it. And I also encourage like learning new things. Like I remember we had a mobile applications in last year, and almost and that's where I did my out of nowhere. I think I just tried that I want to do project on Android, and that was like 2010, and that's just Android was a new thing at that time.
Right.
So I wrote a very simple everyone else I think went with a Nokia application at the time was pretty popular, and I just tried Android application. I just wrote an Android application. So that's just
That's very
learning
brave.
helped me. And then after, yeah, so it's like, and I just built a simple calculator. It's a very simple
Okay.
calculator on Android, but that created my foundation, which I in future like make another Android applications and created that's my whole
Wow.
interest in building Android applications. So like don't afraid of learning new things. Looking back, I think Sneh, you would probably also agree at the time SQL was so popular, and now it's like SQL is old thing and no SQL is new thing. So like
Things are
that's
changing
like
a lot. No?
that's
Within few years, everything
yeah.
has
So I
changed.
think
What seemed to be
I
very
agree. Yeah.
cool at that time is nowhere these
Yeah,
days.
I think at that time Oracle 11 was pretty big thing if you remember.
I
I think
remember Oracle
couple of
9,
our professors.
9 and 8G.
Yeah, Oracle
11 was not
8G.
available. 10G was barely available.
Yes. So yeah, and I would again recommend everyone to keep like some of your fundamentals clear. And this might be very computer specific advice, but like algorithms, data structures, like understanding the core foundation of any field. Like even if you are doing another like electronics, so understanding the core is like that is consistent. Everything else is built on top of it. Unless you understand what is MySQL, what is like you can never understand why no SQL was required or why they have to do this kind of other new technologies came into picture.
Right.
So I would recommend like even if you don't understand fully thing, I think some of the clearing your fundamentals, I
At least
put a
know
lot of
about it.
focus in it. Yes. And just read it just don't, if you don't like reading through books, maybe just read online. That's so much resources.
Actually,
I think, and the
these
things
days
have
with
evolved so
the
much.
Reliance Jio and a very good phone, simple phone also, you have access to anything you want. You need not wait for
exactly.
going to the library or getting access is not the difficult thing these days.
I think that's a big thing. Like if you like at that
Very
time, I think
convenient.
Stack Overflow was pretty. Yeah, Stack Overflow is, I feel like it
God.
has all the answers. Like it's becoming it's like a
The Bhagavad
Google
Gita.
for engineers. I feel like. Just
Okay. So now let me ask you about your experience or your memories of LDRP. One or two memories that you would like to share with your friends, maybe with some teacher or some incident, some event, etc. Anything you would like to share?
Oh my God, that's a tough question. I could never point to two memories and like be content with it. I can go through 10 memories.
Okay.
And like I said, I think the best part is friends, and I think I miss that hanging out with friends. I have so many good friends, and I think probably that is true for our batch as well. I think nobody had a problem with each other. We were all very decent friends. All were really comfortable talking to each other, and especially like for me, my biggest like I look back and like really brings nostalgia to mind is like late night studies with so many friends like Rutul, Jalai, Nisarg. Like I can go through Alai. I can go through the entire list. Like so many of them were part of my life. And then and I remember like we used to wake up 3 a.m., go to and have some like muskaban in the morning, late night games. That's about like outside college, but inside college is I think I remember we had bunch of festivals in college. I think those are those brings a lot of memories. We had couple of picnics, and like I think our professors, I feel like our professors were very friendly. Gunwan sir, Dhaval sir, I think Bela ma'am, some of them are like those are the who made like this, who step outside a little bit of teacher student and become somewhat of a friend at that time. I wish to get in touch with them again, but I think those were like really interesting part of building becoming what I am.
But anyway,
Hello,
we will ensure that they at least they listen to this. If not live, at least they should.
Oh no, yeah, I really appreciate that. And that's just one part of it. Like I think in college, even like in class, there were so many like I think a couple of other like Dhokai, Mayura, Pooja, Mansi, Bharti, Dhruvil. I used to play it was really fun getting my cricketer and table tennis. He was really good at table tennis. I've been practicing for last 10 years. So I'm looking for a rematch. I'm pretty sure he'll beat me again, but still I'm looking for it. And cricket matches, yes, I think that was also fun part of it. I still remember your Miraj More from your class.
Right,
He's
right,
a
yeah.
great bowler. I still remember his bowling, the first swing. I joined cricket club and I tried to swing him like him, but it still like seems like an impossible task.
Miraj was a sportsman from school days also. We were in the same school. I know him from that
Oh,
time.
really? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think your cricketer from your class were really, really exceptional. I think we won the LDRP Cup as well, right? That year, I
Okay.
think some cup we won. I think I remember with our sport teacher. I think something happened. I was not part of the team, but I remember. Like really, it brings back a lot of memories. Like I can talk about it, but I think the
Okay.
best part is almost always like there are so many ups and downs. I think some friends fall apart, but other than that, still I have a very fond memory of those 4 years, and I feel like even if I'm not talking to them every day, if I like it, whenever I see an old photo, it brings back a lot of memories. I think it was a interesting year.
Okay, so the interview is actually done. So, but still, I would like to know your views on this Alumni Talk initiative. So, what kind of maybe you can give your
I
suggestions what we can do in future about this kind of talks, or if you think we are doing a good job, something like that.
I think it's an excellent. I think it's excellent. I think it would be nice. Probably one suggestion, small. I was thinking about it is like, and that is what we do at Google. Whenever someone invites, we get a questions up front. So like, if anyone wants to ask question, you can submit it, and then as a snake, you can walk you through them during the process. Sometimes it's not possible for everyone to join live streaming, so that's a small need. Other than that, I think it's excellent initiative. And like I think I was listening to previous interview, he mentioned the same thing, that don't hesitate to reach out to your seniors. You can learn from, like, there is two way to learn anything, right? Either you learn from your own experience or you learn from someone else's experience. So yes, go try it, learn it on your own, but there are always seniors who have gone through the process, who can understand, who can help out. Like I can also provide so many resources. I can refer anyone at Google, or even I can help pointing in the right direction. Hey, I want to do that from my experience, from others like others. But I think it's a great initiative, and I think what I like, if I would have been in a college and I'm looking at this, I would want to like follow up with something, and like just learn as much as possible. So this is a perfect initiative, and most of them like does not know what to do next. So this kind of initiative will help them thrive or understand what are the options available.
Yeah, yeah. That's what is our
That's the thing.
objective. Hopefully, we are doing good in that.
Yeah.
So, any other
No, and I
parting
think we
thoughts?
can take some request as well. Like
Right.
I think we can also take some requests from the students. Like, hey, what do you wanna? What sort of person do you like to listen from it? Like they can
Actually,
submit the request. Like, hey, I wanna listen from this, and then we can try to go the way around and find someone
find
in college or
someone.
outside the college, because
Okay.
yeah,
That's a good
that's
suggestion.
something
That's
just
a good
such.
suggestion. So we usually ask for them to suggest if they know someone, but this is also a good suggestion.
Mm,
So any other parting thoughts that you would like to
yeah.
give before we end the interview? Though I know you have spoken about a lot of things, but anything last message if you want to give?
I would say it's like college is, I think, probably one of the best time of life. So many friends and everything. So, and that's a standard. I would again reinforce that, enjoy as much as possible, but don't lose the sight. Like just keep some sort of thinking in mind. I think for personally, and I've seen people around me, I would say, is who are successful is like have some little bit of long term goal. And if you don't know, then try to find one for yourself. Like like I always knew I want to do masters, and I
Okay.
want to do like get a like try to get into one of the big companies. When I was even applying, I prepared for, like, when I was applying for Epic, I prepared for Epic, and I had a goal in mind. When I joined Epic, then I realized I want probably Google is a better company. I prepared for Google, so it's like, and it did not happen overnight. It was like I'd say I prepared for Google for 6 months, but
Okay.
it's you have to keep that goal in mind. So yes, enjoy, but keep some form of goal in mind. Like driving yourself blindly and crossing to 4 years might just put you in a roadblock that you don't know what you want to do next.
So we understand that whatever you have achieved
That's
is a
my
cumulative effort of all the years. It's not just 1 or 2 months. That's very
Yeah.
good message for everyone, that we have to have some goal. Otherwise, we cannot plan.
Yeah. And it's like, in any if goal is too easy, everyone can do it. If its goal is too hard, then you have to keep a sight of it. You have to prepare for it. You cannot like no one, like, even if you take, even given your example, if someone wants to be PhD, you cannot be PhD in a day. You have to find your passion.
Right,
You have to
right.
decide what you want to do PhD in it. You have to
Hmm.
do masters in the same subject. You have to do PhD in the same subject. You have to find right college. So I think keeping goal in mind. Maybe you can talk more about being something like that, because you have also come from a long journey. But that's
Right, right. Maybe
something
some
I
other
feel like
day
is
I will
the
talk
correct
about
way
it.
to do it.
That's right.
I would love to take your interviews and
Oh
ask
my
you the
God.
same question, because I'm very interested. You coming from data privacy, and you're a PhD in it, so I would love to take. Maybe you, if you have a couple minutes, you can talk about it. Your take on data privacy, or maybe some other time. Up to you.
So that should be a full interview, maybe some other time.
I agree. I agree.
So we don't do
That is
very
it
cool
from my
stuff
side.
like you. Our work is purely focused on algorithms and numbers, which may have application in future. It may not look very exciting to everyone.
I think some of those very core things you do, it can become like it's a very funny thing. The video processing I work with is right now I'm working with one of our Gujarati who has graduated from CN,
Oh,
and then he went on become joining masters from Stanford, and he did a PhD, and he's writing such a core graphs at such a fundamental layer which can work on any machine. So this PhDs, I have a very huge respect for them.
oh, that's great. Okay, so let us end this interview. So thank you very much for spending your time. We are really grateful to you for this, and then we are also proud that you are representing us in Google. And so we also feel that we can also say, call anyone and say, okay, I have a friend in Google who is working in this project that everyone uses. So thank you very much for that.
Yes, I
And
really appreciate it, and thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Dawal. Thank you, Asne, for scheduling and
thank
inviting
you.
me. It's a nice trip down memory lane.
So before we end, so I wanted to ask everyone that if you have any queries, or you know anyone who should be invited for the next interview, please send a message to the page admin. And now, as Munir suggested, if you want some other kind of interview, know about some other kind of person who works at some big organization, what are your expectations, so that also you can send a message to Dhawal, who is the page admin, and we will get in touch with you very soon. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Munir. I'm ending this.
Thank you.